Hey guys, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate the support, and I really appreciate the fact that you're here tonight to learn a little bit more about real estate, to hear this amazing guy, Jason. He's been able to accomplish amazing things in a short period of time. So for me, that tells me that he knows some secret sauce that we all need to know. He's been great the past few months that I've been able to meet him just by just hearing his content on Instagram. He's very knowledgeable in certain areas, and I think one of the main points that I think he's probably going to tackle here is like financial had that right in order for us to actually invest and be able to accomplish what we want as far as like creating generational wealth for ourselves and our families. And I just think that's an overlooked topic that we most of the time miss when we hear people in social media talking about it's like, oh, I'm gonna teach you how to get an abs, but they forgot the part that, man, in order for you to get the abs, you need to change your diet a little bit, and you need to exercise.
Let's be real. That's like 90% of it, man. Like, to be honest, if you want abs, you just got to get right.
So that's it. So I'm gonna let you guys with Jason, and I hope you guys enjoy. And then afterwards, we can ask any questions, or do you want like in the middle of everything?
I was thinking it was a Q&A. Is that not a Q&A?
It can be a Q&A. Okay. So Jason, tell us.
Well, let me see your mic, man. Let me see this. Check 1 2. Oh man, this is much better.
Right, okay,
you're talking that way.
Okay.
That works. That works a little bit better. All right. So let me just tell you a little bit about myself before we dive into this Q&A. My name is Jason Rash. It's spelled Rash like it sounds. I got into real estate investing kind of like an awkward way. I was in the stock market, and I'd lost about $26,000 in 8 minutes. I realized very quickly, very on, that how many here have like one property or no properties? Raise your hand if you have no properties. Okay, cool. Raise your hand if you have 1 to 5. Okay, raise your hand if 5 to 10. Cool. 15 or more. 15 or more. I know this dude right here is good. He's like, I got like 3. I like him already. He's super cool. But anyway, here's the thing. Let me get a little slack here.
You good?
Yeah, we good. There we go. Yeah, we'll roll with that. So I got into real estate in a very awkward way. My father passed away. Let me back it up. My father passed away in June of 2020. I started making a little bit of money along the way. My wife and I, we are in network marketing, and we do sales and marketing all over the globe. My dad was like, hey, listen, you're starting to make a little bit of money. You need to put that in real estate. You need to do something for your family. How many of you here want to build generational wealth? Like you want to leave something for your family? It's either yes or yes. Raise your hand.
Yeah. Woo.
There you go. Because you can't do that through stocks. You can't do it through Bitcoin. You can't do it through 401k, IRAs, mutual funds, all that stuff. At some point, you got to get rid of it, and you got to pay your taxes on it. But real estate is different. My father, he encouraged me to do this, but I didn't listen to him before he passed away because I didn't believe in myself. There's a lot of times that we don't do things because we don't believe in ourselves. I didn't graduate high school very, very easily. I was the very last person for the principal to say, hey, listen, look, you graduate, you get to walk. I wasn't that guy. I wasn't a math whiz or anything like that. I carried that with me to adulthood. And, that day that my father passed away, he saw something in me that I couldn't see in myself. So I didn't listen to anything he said, and I went into stocks, and I lost 26 grand in 8 minutes. And I was like, you know what? I always feel like money's always trying to teach you a lesson. It's always teaching you a lesson. Always. I can learn the lesson at $26,000, or I could put 260 grand in the market, and I could learn the lesson at 260,000, or I can do a lifetime of earnings at 2.6 million. I'm like, God's talking to me right now. I'm like, I'm out of here, man. This isn't for me. This is not the game that I want to play. I'm going to learn. I'm going to pay the price of 26 grand, tap out like in the UFC, right? And then I started listening to my friends who were talking about like, hey, man, and I started revisiting like, man, my dad was right about the real estate thing. Okay, cool. I can do this. I think, is there music going on over there? Or is that just me?
Yeah, that's music.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, you're good.
That sounds really good.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening over there. Sounds like hey, my man. Hey, you guys give it up for him right now. That's good stuff right there. But here's the thing. I revisited that conversation my dad had. He saw something in me that I couldn't see myself that day. So I said, you know what? I'm going to get into real estate. I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. I'm running this large company over here that's making 7 figures a year for us. And I'm like, I knew that if I was going to dive into real estate, I didn't want it to take up a lot of my time. See, the main thing is you always keep the main thing the main thing. right? Always keep the main thing the main thing. Many people, they make really good money over here, but they want to dive into real estate. And I'm explaining to people, I'm like, if you can make more money over here, why not build a passive income stream through real estate to get your feet wet first? So I was like, let me see if I can build an entire system here of how to build this real estate out. So I like long-term rentals. That's just what I do. I don't do flips. I don't do BRBRs or BRRR, whatever you want to call it. I don't do wholesale. I leave that up to you. It's just not my thing. Like I said, I keep all my attention on making money because I can make money faster over here with this business than assume the risk of getting a property and trying to flip it. It's not worth it for me. However, I told myself before I dive into this real estate thing, I'm going to give myself 90 days. I got 3 books. I talk about it on the Bigger Pockets podcast. I've been featured on Bigger Pockets, Dave Ramsey's show, and interviewed by Business Insider. And I said, if I can't learn this in like 3 books and in 90 days have my first house closed, because keep in mind, I didn't know jack about real estate. I said, I'm not going to go down this road. I'll find something else. Maybe I'll invest in crypto. Well, I got the 3 books. I was like, okay, cool. I understand how a single family home works. I understand the property acquisition. I understand how to get it all, what I'm looking for. And I just started building out a system and I started talking about it online. Guy from high school reaches out to me. I hadn't seen this guy in 20 years. He says, hey man, I got a house for you. And I was like, really? This has got to be some BS. I got a house for you. I'll sell it to you right now. It's 3 bedroom, 2 bath, all brick. I've redone the floors, new appliances. I've updated the AC in the roof and I'll sell it to you for $63,750. It was a really good deal. I was like, this is either going to blow up in my face or going to be a really good deal. So right now that house rents out for $1,150, and I think the mortgage is like $314. That's a pretty good deal when you say so. I went on to carry those deals out through 15 other properties within 18 months. And just like that. So I started building out a portfolio. I think we have about, I think we bring in like, last month we brought in like $6,000. You know, as a real estate investor, it's not all the same. Things fluctuate, things happen. I mean, insurance just went up, and so that's killing me now. But the thing about it is we should be at $7,000 this month in positive cash flow, and I do nothing. Like I literally do nothing. It just comes in because I'm over here running a business. I'm over here doing a lot of other stuff. So he asked me to come out here just to talk about it and talk about real estate, talk about the things. A lot of people, to be very truthful with you, most people that reach out to me, they're on the emotional end of the real estate investing. They already are so emotionally attached that they've got to have a deal. They have to have a deal. They got to get it done. I'm like, bro, calm down. How much do you have in your savings account? And I was just telling Julian about this a second ago. Or no, I was telling you about it. A guy reaches out to me. He's got $40,000 that his uncle's going to lend him because he can find a dealer, so he thinks he can find deals. Like, how much do you have in your own personal savings account? He's like, I got like a couple $100. I'm like, $200? I'm like, well, tell me about your checking account. Tell me about your job. I mean, the man is literally like just barely above water with his personal finances. And I would be very honest with you. If you are terrible at personal finances, don't go into real estate. Don't go into real estate. There's very too many unpredictable patterns that you can never predict. External market forces, wars, tweets. You never know, man. Like people just, it's very unpredictable. Shit breaks. I mean, and if you're really, really bad at personal finances, if you have any chinks in the armor between savings, between your income, between budgeting, like managing your own day-to-day money, between your credit card debt, anything at all, it will be magnified and exposed greatly, far faster than you could ever imagine. I'm just being real with you. I'm just being real. Like that is the biggest asset. Like I'm a big saver. Like I'm a huge saver, man. I want indestructible wealth. I want to build it. I don't want anything to take me out. I don't want a tenant to leave and then take me out. That's why I'm a huge saver, man. Like all the money that we make from our real estate adventures, I never touch any of it. I treat it like a retirement account. It just sits there. Like it just sits there and it builds up every single month because it gives me peace of mind.
And I think again, reiterating. Am I pronouncing?
Reiterating.
Yeah,
that's right. That's it.
Okay, so the main reason why I wanted Jason to be here is like, again, like I've seen over and over and over people reacting to like just everything that they see on social media. Even me, I fell with that as well. Like you get so emotional about the whole thing, but I think he brings a nice balance about real estate, about the real estate game. Because yeah, you have the Dave Ramsey school, like save, but what are you gonna do with that money? But at the same time, he's the type of guy that, okay, you know what? Yes, I'm gonna save, but I'm gonna think of how am I gonna make more money? Because that's the key. Like if you're able to get that balanced out, it's you know, I think it's a golden nugget of like how you can start to build up on your portfolio.
Yeah, I think the discipline of saving money is the main discipline for real estate investing. I really do. I mean, like the most people that I talk to, the most successful investors I talk to are incredible savers. They say they don't refinance to the end of time. They don't put everything out on a wire in the hopes that something will come back. They actually have a monster truckload of cash in the back. I mean, that's the biggest ones. Like I'm talking people with like 75 homes, 400 homes. You know, people that I talk to, they just like, I'm big savers, man. They don't really live on it. They invest it whenever they feel the time is right. And just let me be very clear, guys, and ladies as well. You know, waiting is like part of investing. I mean, that's Warren Buffett. I mean, he'll tell you, like, we ain't pulling the trigger yet. We ain't pulling the trigger yet. We ain't pulling the trigger yet for months. We ain't pulling the trigger yet. All of a sudden, a business goes where he wants it to go. Something happens externally, and all of a sudden, bam, he pulls the trigger. And when he does this in a massive way, waiting is half of investing. If you jump in, okay, I got to have this deal. I got to have this deal. Then you got to ask yourself, why are you on that end of the deal? Because in my eyes, when people that do that, man, they're going to lose every time because there's going to be, your emotions will cloud your logical judgment of something that you would have seen. Like there's always red flags when you look back and you thought like, man, I really had that deal. Was that good of a deal? And then you look back and you're like, damn, man, I kind of overlooked that. Or I may have, the spreadsheet told me that it was going to, I mean, we can put in whatever number you want, right? Oh, well, the market's telling me it's going to rent for X, Y, Z. And next thing you know, I mean, we all been in like the market's going like this. In Miami, though, everything's going up. But in markets around the country, it's going like this. They're rolling right now. What they thought something would rent out for $2,000 is probably getting like $1,750 or $1,600. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's not coming back to you that you thought it would. So I mean, I'm in that same situation with the property that I have. You know, I'm just throwing all that out there. I'm just throwing it all out there. You got to be ready. Like if you're going to invest, and it gets more complicated. I'm not going to say it gets more complicated. The hardest thing is to go 1, 2, 3. Like if you to get as far away from 1, 2, and 3 as fast as possible, because it gets easier. Like with more doors, it just gets far easier because when somebody leaves, it's not, you know, you have one home and somebody leaves, you feel that 100%. But if you have 2 homes, somebody leaves, you feel it 50%. But if you have 10 homes, you barely even notice. It's a blip on the radar. I mean, like your goal in real estate, the people that get sunk the fastest in real estate are the 3 to 4 to 2 people. 1, 2, 3, 4. They get sunk the fastest. But if you can outpace that somehow, some way, and get to 10 as quickly as possible, smart and logical, then I've got a feeling that you're going to be just all right. But those are the most people that I see go under in real estate.
Can you? Because I got confused.
Go ahead.
Sorry. So I was like 1, 2, 3, 4. What do you mean by that?
Like 1, 2, 3, 4 doors. Like a one
doors. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Like I said, like if you have one door, you have a vacancy, you feel it 100%. You have 2, it's 50, and then 75. I mean 25%, and then 0, right? 10%.
Okay.
25%.
And you were talking about like 3 books that you wanted to like. What are those 3 books?
So I would say the first one would be like The Bigger Pockets, Invest in Rental Property. That right there is like the game changer, man. Like that's a game changer one. It's like a solid foundation because it tells you exactly what to look for. It tells you, walk you through real world experiences. I would say the second one would be, there's another one called How to Invest in Rental Property. That's a fantastic one. It's by The Bigger Pockets, written by Josh Dorkin. Yeah, that's a great one. And then I would say the last one would be Rental Property Investing. Like it's the orange one by Bigger Pockets. Like understand how everything works inside the property management. Now, I don't manage my own properties. I just want to throw this out here. I don't manage any of my own properties. I bought these properties with the intent of just having a 100% passive income stream. I don't want nothing to do with it. I'm really, really smart. But like I said, I have a business over here that requires my time and attention. That, you know, it's just, for me, it just works out like that. But for other people, it may be something else. But I wanted to know the right questions to ask the property manager. So, you know, it's like anything else, any type of business. You don't know what you don't know. Like I talk to people all the time about taxes. They don't know jack about taxes. And like, if you don't know anything, where's a CPA in the room? There's somebody in here who's a CPA. This guy right here? Hey, he's a CPA. Like if the client doesn't know the right questions to ask, you can't read their mind. Yes or yes?
Yeah, we're not magicians.
Right, exactly. So I mean,
Rather guess lottery than guess what client wants.
exactly. And so that's the thing. I mean, if you're going to make any substantial amount of money on this planet, you need to have a good working knowledge of how taxes work. You have to understand how it works. Especially in real estate, it's so vast and so wide compared to what you can do. I mean, a situation that works for you may not work for me, but something that works for me may not work for you.
Yeah.
And so you need to have a really good understanding, a good working knowledge of how taxes work in this country because they're always changing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any questions? Anything that you want to ask?
Go ahead, sir.
What's your investment approach or philosophy when you're approaching property?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for asking. So right now I do single family homes. I do 3-bedroom, 2-bath, all brick, no basement, no pools, no decks, no large manicured yards. Smaller the better. I try to do it with no trees in the front yard. I have a very, very specific set of criteria. I know that not having a basement doesn't work in some areas where I'm at. It's very, very few and far between. Here, I know that pools are a thing where I invest. I invest in Montgomery, Alabama, Prattville, Alabama. And that's the main area where I invest at. And so I have a very set window of what I'm looking at, of when all the properties are on the market. That's how I approach it. I'm like, okay, what will this rent out for? Because I know the area very, very well. I grew up there, but I also know what type of tenant's going in there. I've learned that if I want to rent something out for like $2,000, and I got the first 10 that I did were all between the price point of 65,000 and 120, but the last 5 that I bought were all 200,000 and above. I put 20% down on all of them. But it gets the U.S. military in there, high-ranking officers. They take care of your stuff. It's like everybody's going for Section 8. I'm like, well, there's another end of the spectrum. It's called just go to the pounds with the military bases. So I just get all that money there. They take care of your house. They pay on time. There's a penalty if they don't pay. I mean, they pay on time. They take care of it.
They follow the rules.
They follow the rules. They're not parking in the yard. You know what I mean? That's what I look for now. Is I just want higher-end homes, and the appreciation's higher on those as well.
Yeah.
Does that help to answer your question? Yeah, and it's just that. It's literally just that. I don't deviate from it. I don't do 2-1s, 2-2s. During the pandemic, whenever there was a big run up and everybody's like, oh my God, you got to get this house, got to get this house, that house. I just stepped in my criteria. I mean, because I know that anybody that's going to buy a 3-1 from me is not going to be a family. It's not going to be a growing family. So I always think whenever I go into the deal, I'm like, how am I going to get out of this deal? First thing I think about is the exit strategy, because I want out of the deal if I'm going to go into it. I want to know how I'm going to get out of it. I know that if I dump a 3-2 in the market at the right price or a 4-2, a growing family is going to value that more. They're more likely to pay market price. But if I buy a 2-2, 2-1, 3-1, I know the only thing, majority of times, most people that are going to buy that's going to be an investor, and they're just going to beat me down all the way down to the ground. So I want to be able to dump it out quick, and I want to dump it for a higher price. That's the strategy. And I don't do the pools for the maintenance. I don't do the basements because, it's not a matter of if it'll leak. It's a matter of when it'll leak. Don't do large manicured yards because I don't want to take care of all that stuff. I don't want to put that on the tenant. I want them to stay. My goal is to get the families in there for 3 to 5 years, paying rent, full rent, and we can raise it up every single year. And to provide great quality housing too at the same time. That's obviously the ultimate goal.
I have a question.
Hit me.
So you have an extensive portfolio, and I'm assuming some of them you have gotten loans, and I know there's like a limit on the amount of loans that you're gonna get. Like, how are you guys managing as far as how are we gonna grow our portfolio now that we have a limitation on the amount of loans that we have?
Sure, that's a great question. So everybody in America gets 10 loans. Everybody who qualifies, DTI and debt to income ratio and credit score, as long as you qualify, you can get the 10 loans. And if you're married, you can get 20. So what I did was my wife and I were both on our primary house. So I took her off the mortgage, but I kept her on the title. That way I couldn't sell the house out from under her. Mm-hmm. So she's still on it, but I'm just obligated to the mortgage. So that frees up a slot. So then what I did was I bought 2 in my name, 2 in her name, 2 in my name, 2 in her name, 2 in my name, all the way down the line. So I think all of mine are full, all 10 of mine are full. And if you have, let's say you have 3 left over, it's not like you can just pick and choose who they're going to go to. Mm-hmm. And that's on you or it's on her, right? So it's very specific. So I think she has like 3 left. I think she has 3 left. On her, I'm completely maxed out. So what happens is whenever I purchase the properties, then we'll take them and then we'll flip them into our company's name on the title through a quick claim deed.
Okay, so you're going to purchase under her name and then flip it over to your...
Correct, but she's still on the mortgage.
Yeah.
She's still on the mortgage. Correct. So I did that so I don't get all the people like you calling me all the time and texting me like, hey, are you interested in selling 123 Main Street? No, I'm not interested unless you want to give me $1 million right now. Okay. I always respond back to those guys. But no, I mean, that's how you do it. And, I personally have not maxed out. So what I did, I'll tell you what I did on one property. So, to go faster, I was like, how can I tap into more money quicker? So I did a cash out refi in May on a property. When my father passed away, he left me like this house. I rented it out. It rents out for, it rents out for like $1,250, $1,225, $1,250, yeah, $1,250. And it was worth $240. It didn't appraisal on it. It's worth $240, no mortgage, anything at all whatsoever. So I took out $180,000. $180,000 at the 4% was going to be like $1,074 a month. So minus property management fees, I took the entire thing that I could take out. I'm only making like $20 on that property. Right. But I took all the rest of that money and I bought like high-end homes with it too. Okay. And so those homes now are cash flowing like $600 each with the potential to cash flow over $1,000 each within the next 3 to 4 years. Okay. Yeah. So I refi. I'm just trying to figure out how I can leverage it, but I'm not a crazy leverager. It was fine for me, but a part of it was like with real estate, unfortunately, sometimes our emotion gets tied to it, especially a piece of property that's been in the family for a while. So I had to figure out okay, am I going to make this work? Is this the right way to use this money? How can I best leverage this? And in my mind, that was the best way to do it.
I just want to share this.
Yeah, go ahead.
But I think you go in the same line as this guy. So I saw Alex Hermosi talking about making business decisions, and more often even not specifically with real estate, but in business in general, we have our emotions take over the whole like the whole evaluation, the whole approach, and then he basically mentions the same thing you mentioned earlier, and is that like the most successful investor, like they're just repeating the same thing over and over.
It's a
Like we
system.
know it's like a system.
It's a system.
That's
It has to be a
But it's
system.
like even like a, because we often think of like a system. I don't know, AI, like a line of
Yeah.
machines, whatever. But it's more a mental system, like a code that you personally have of principles. Like every time I see a deal or something, I'm just gonna get the same approach like you. You have your own criteria. This is my criteria. It has to be this. These are the numbers. That's it. Boom, 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 boom. That's it.
Yeah, it
So-
either works
and
or it
everybody's
doesn't.
different. Huh?
It either works or it doesn't. It's no emotion involved. When you have a system, it removes that emotional element. So you can just, it's just hard numbers at that point.
Yeah, and also like Jason has his property in Alabama, and you guys might think, oh my God, he's investing out of state. He is, but you also know a little bit about that
Yeah.
market. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
let's
wasn't
talk
like a
about that.
random.
Yeah, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, yeah.
So is everybody here local investors here in the area within like a 40-mile radius? Are you guys local investors? Is there anybody outside of that that's in another state? Okay, fantastic. Have you guys, I'm assuming either, if you invested out of state, either you've been there or you know somebody who's personally been there or on some level, correct? He's like, whatever, dude. He's like, but here's the thing, like if you're going to invest out of state, you better know the area, or you better know somebody who knows the area. Local knowledge is gold, because there's many times that whenever Redfin would pop up a house, there's a meth lab across the street. Somebody would call me and be like, hey man, look, man, this house over here in your neighborhood that you buy in is like ready to roll, man. Like it's good, to buy it. And so I'd call my agent, I send her by there. Number one, it smells like, piss and vomit in the house, and there's a meth lab across the street. I'm like, I don't want a family moving in there, but it's just not part of my brand. Like I don't just go for like just any hood rat house. I just don't. I'm just, that's just me. That's just me, but that's part of my brand. And it took me a while to figure that out. But I think at the same time, it's like if you have a system, if you know how you're going to approach the property, like you need to have a very well thought out system. And like I said, if you feel like your emotions are getting involved, you need to ask yourself, what the hell's going on here? Like what's really, really going on? Because if you ever do a deal, I got scammed out of $50,000. Can I talk about that for a second?
Yeah.
You guys want me to tell you how this happened?
Yeah.
I got scammed out of 50 G's, okay? It was in an online store. I talk about this on my podcast. By the way, my wife told me to drop the podcast. And I got stuff for you in the car. Don't let me forget. Like you're gonna love it. It's freaking great.
Okay.
It's great, man. It's gonna blow you up.
And then we have a raffle. One of these cards.
The blue one. I want the blue. Let's do the blue one. So I got conned out of 50 grand. This is how it happened. Okay. So I wasn't doing real estate at the time. A friend of mine approached me, and this is normally how scams work. The reason why I'm telling you this is because my emotions led me to this entire deal. My friend led me to this, and it was an Amazon drop shipping store. Now, you guys know what Amazon drop shipping is? Yeah. Well, this one turned out to be a total scam. And so what happened was a good friend of mine, I knew him for about a year. He had gone in and bought into the scam, right? Or bought into it. He was apparently getting results, or so it seemed. This is a good Christian guy. He gets in Facebook groups, makes friends with everybody. Okay, this is how it goes, right? And then he approaches me. I said, no. Why don't you get results for a year and then come back? Sure enough, a year later, he comes back around. I'd been talking to him a couple of times throughout the internet, throughout that year. Then he was like, hey man, this is what I'm getting. These are the results I'm getting. And then all of a sudden I looked at that and I was like, oh my God, man, that's legit results, or what I thought it was. Where he got me was he came up and said, listen, it's hands off. It's completely hands off. All you got to do is just invest, and they're going to take it from there, and they're going to get a cut because they're incentivized to get a cut of the money. Then whenever they sell products, you get a cut, you're going to get a 60% cut, they're going to get a 40% cut of the profit. I was like, okay, cool, this sounds great. This is where he got me. I wanted something for free, and he knew it. He knew it. That's how he conned me. I'm going to tell you this again. My emotions were involved. I was like, oh my God. I started looking at his profits. I started looking at his returns. Like, oh my God, I don't have to do anything. Oh my God, this is incredible. I bet it was, right? That's how he got me. The moment you feel like your emotions are going to make it part of the deal, like that's whenever it clouds all of your judgment. My wife wasn't involved in it. She kept asking me, what are we investing in? What exactly are we invested in? And I was like, it's an Amazon drop shipping store. And I kept getting more agitated with the more questions. This is how I knew, right? She knew it wasn't right. All that women's intuition. Male intuition has yet failed to be seen, but the women's intuition, she knew what was up. But that's how he got me, because I couldn't answer the question. I knew that something was wrong, but I just kept pressing forward because I was like, trust me, it works. That's all I said to her. And then I gave him the 50 grand, never heard anything else. Turns out he conned a lot of other people in the same circle. Turns out he did.
At church.
Huh? Yeah, at church, right? And so but I want you to understand, like, whenever you get involved in deals and there's large money to go around, the moment that your emotions are involved, I don't care if it's real estate, I don't care if it's you're buying a business, I don't care if you're going to open a business, whatever it is, understand you need to take a step back and just take a breather. Because if I had just stepped back, say, man, let me revisit this in about a week, I would have never done the deal. Never. But he saw that I wanted something for free. I just want you to ask yourself that. What are you trying to get? If the deal is so good, why does everybody else not bidding on it? Number one. Why is there not more people like vultures all over this deal, right? But more importantly, like what could I miss? What am I not going to be able to see? And that's what will happen, is it will cloud your judgment, and then you'll look back and be like, oh my God. Yeah, totally. I could see how I got conned out of that. So yeah, I want to just tell you guys that's my PSA for the day.
Yeah, you won't find that on a book.
Yeah, you won't find that in a book. I can promise you that.
Yeah.
That's how people con you, man. Yeah, it's legit.
You guys have any other questions?
Feel free to ask questions. Anything.
You were talking about the time frame that you were able to achieve this. And you walk us through how you were able to accomplish because the amount of volume, and then also, do you have any contacts for the loans, people that you like to do business with?
Yeah. Do you want me to give you my lender? I can send you my lender. Yeah, she's great. I did all my deals with her. So after the first deal, when I lost the $26,000 in the stock market, I pulled the rest of my money out. It wasn't all my money. It was just 26 grand. It was enough to be painful. So I pulled about $300,000 out of the stock market, and that's what I went in to invest with. That's what I started with, and I just went bang, 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 bang. So I closed on my first deal February 5th, 2020. What year are we in? 2023, right? So 2021. Sorry, I had to check. 2021, I closed. I literally, when I flew in for the first one, I brought my son with me, my 13-year-old son. When I was there, I closed on a Friday, went and saw another property on Saturday, bought that one, and then I bought the next two right behind that, probably within about 2 weeks of each other. I closed on 3 and 4 on the same day, because I knew that if I didn't outrun the curse of 1, 2, 3, 4 houses, then I was going to get sucked into it. It's like a vortex. It'll suck you back in because you're not making enough, and whenever you have the vacancy, it just sucks you right in. That's why speed is so important to be able to move. Then I found 5, 6, 7, 8 right out the gate. I closed on those in like probably 4 months apart from each other. And then 9 and 10, I did all 10 within 8. I did all 10 within 8 months of each other.
I guess the question was more, do you use wholesalers, MLS?
No, I just pulled literally everything off the MLS. And I just negotiate. I'm a really good negotiator, like really, really good. I've got new roofs, new HVACs, like all sorts of free stuff. New flooring, like all sorts of stuff. And I just pulled it right off the MLS. And my real estate agent knows like a lot of realtors in the area. And so like the fact that I could close, the fact that I could show up and she knew I was going to close, this guy's can close. I mean, that's why my contracts got accepted, even though they weren't, the seller didn't really, the seller wasn't, there was a lot of people that were not closing. They were making the offers and all the stuff that still had the lending letter, but they would back out at the last second. I was the guy that could close. Yeah. I'll get you that lender at the end.
And you have to. So before that, you hustled your way up to like saving all that money, and then you got all that chunk, and then you decided to, you know what? Let me just get into this at once, and
yeah. I mean, I came from the trailer park. I mean, in September of 2015, I almost lost my house. I don't have a college degree. I lived in the trailer. I've been broke almost all of my adult life. I was making $15 an hour up to 32. I'm 45 now. I've had to hustle my face off. I mean, just hustle it, man. I've made a lot of mistakes, I mean, like whenever, we were coming up, I'd say 2017 was the year that changed my entire life. It's whenever we got into sales and marketing. I think the first check we got for January of 2017 was $500. By December, it was $42,000 a month. Wow. And then it cranked to 70 and then 110 a month. And, I mean, dude, it's been a lot of work. It's been 16 hours a day some days, but I mean, when you know. And I'm not blessed. I don't have any talents. I just like to talk to people. I'm really good at sales. That's where it comes into what I was telling you, is the power of negotiations. Is like you got to be able to negotiate with people. You have to. You have to be able to negotiate. You can't be, you got to be able to ask for what you want. They don't want it, they move to the next thing. Because it's like they said with the system, I never feel like I never feel like I'm going to lose a deal. Because if the dude doesn't want to agree, I'm like, okay, cool. This is my final offer. If you want it, you can have it. If not, then cool. I'll just go find another house. It's not a big deal. Because I know and I did all this from 1,500 miles away. I was in Colorado while I was buying the homes in Alabama every time. I never saw any of them. I just trusted my real estate agent. I said, walk through there. Tell me if it smells funny. Tell me if it looks funky. Like on the inside, is it a funky layout? Because I want to, like, again, I'm thinking about the exit strategy. I want to know, how am I going to get out of this deal? If it's sitting there, I want to know if I can get out of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because basically, I mean, because I don't want to give them, to some of the people, the wrong impression. Like, oh, so now I have to do the same thing, like go through the same path that you went through.
Yeah.
Because there's different ways you can start in real estate.
Millions.
You can like partner up with someone else, but I think, and I think this is also very important. You have to develop that muscle first of like discipline and also knowledge and information in order for you to actually take that leap of. Well, it's not gonna. To be honest, it's not gonna. Yeah, leap of faith because you have certainty that you're gonna be able to finish the race. So yeah, just wanted to.
I think one thing to mention here is like increase your income. Like the first thing so I'm a personal finance coach, and I coach high net worth people. We're talking 350 grand, 400 grand. They're making 750 a year, $1 million a year. And I coach them with how to help them with their money. I do not tell them specifically what to invest in. If I had to do that, then I would have to get a certification. But I just teach them with their money, just so everybody here in the room knows. And this shows up on the internet. And some company doesn't come out of, well, you need to do this. So I don't sell life insurance because they're making me do all this other stuff. But if I could tell anybody anything, it's like I would do this. If I was going to get into real estate, imagine showing up to a deal with $5,000, or imagine showing up to it with 500 grand. Whose attention you need to get more, and how much leverage you're going to have? Like, there's so many people that are trying to get in the real estate game that just don't. I'm just going to say it like it is. Just don't make enough money to like pull leverage into the deal. They don't come to the table with any power. Like if you come to the table with 20 grand, if you come to the table with 100 grand, you're gonna have a lot more power, a lot more choices, a lot more opportunities. The more money you come to the table, that's the real power of real estate. Real estate costs money. It's expensive. Either you're gonna buy, you're gonna pay for it, the bank's gonna pay for it, a hard money lender's gonna pay for it. Somebody's gonna pay for this thing. Maybe you're gonna do seller creative finance. Whatever is gonna happen, somebody's gonna pay it. It's just how long it's going to be spread out, and the terms and everything just are all different. But if you come to the table with your own money, you own the deal. I personally am not a big fan of partners. I've had people want to invest with me. And a lot of people are like, hey, man, I got $10,000. Can I get in on your deal? I'm like, no. I just want to do my own thing. But it's important to understand, like, ask yourself, how high can you get your income? Like, that's the first question. Like, how high can you get it? Because if you're in a W-2 job, it's really, really hard to get it higher. And so many people are like, I don't understand how you're buying houses so fast, because I've divorced myself from the time, money, right? Like when I put the time in to make the money, it just comes in because I built a system around it. I'm not trading my time for dollars like a lot of people are. If you can find a way to not trade your time for dollars, if you can find a way to make money, sell a product, sell a service, like the wholesaling that you do, if you can find a way to do it, and scale that up, you can make unlimited amounts of money. Imagine that now. Imagine if you just instead of making 20 grand or 50 grand, 60 grand a year, imagine making 60 grand a month. I mean, that's the really important key. It's just, you just come to the table with so much leverage, man. Like you really do.
Yeah, and I think that's like the huge difference, like on the Dave Ramsey school and then the other type of school. And it's like concentrate on how to make more money rather than just like restrain yourself and like, and do nothing. Like if you're able to, make more money and also figure out a way to just be intentional with the money that you're saving, I think that's gonna be more powerful.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be smart with it. I mean, like I said, it all goes back to the real estate, like the very beginning of real estate. You got to be smart with your money. Like you have to be smart. My man right here with the 300, Julian, correct? You got to be smart. Yes or yes? Yeah, he's like, we'll make it all work out. We'll make it all work out. There you go. I like that. I like his attitude. But does anybody have any questions for me?
Very creative.
Yeah.
Very creative guy.
I mean, I'll answer any question you want. Doesn't matter. Money, real estate.
What's the mindset behind not buying like duplexes or multi-units?
Yeah, go for it.
No, like, because you only buy single family homes.
Yeah.
3-2. So what's the mindset behind that? Not like buying like multi-units or duplexes.
Nothing wrong with it at all. Whatever works. That's what he was talking about earlier, man. The real estate, there's many financial doors to heaven through real estate. Like whatever works for you is whatever works for you. The reason why I chose single family homes, and many people ask me this, like, why did you choose single family homes when you can make much more money doing X, Y, Z? And I agree with you. You can. They forget. I can make $1 million over here with a business where I can just leverage the energy and attention and time of other people instead of assuming that risk and instead of assuming the property and everything that comes along with it. But the main thing is it just sucks away my attention. Like anything outside of it, I lose momentum the moment that I have to learn a new skill.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I wear the exact same clothes every single day. I eat the exact same food every single day. I lose momentum. And the time lost is the real deficit. So that's why I never moved to it. I mean, I can literally buy 1 million single family homes. I just buy them all the exact same way. I don't have to learn the skill. Where multifamily, it's totally different in different markets. Like it's completely different. 1, 2, whether or not you're in Florida, whether or not you're in California, whether or not you're in Jersey or Arizona, whatever.
Yeah. So basically, because you were
A repeatable pathway to wealth. That's why I bought the single family homes. It's a very simple, repeatable pathway to wealth.
and then he designed that system for him because it works for him, because he's been saying like, okay, I already developed a system on this company that's generating me a predictable income that all my attention is here. Now I want to be able to allocate this money to another asset that it doesn't require as much as energy, that it will make me derail from this. But that's his strategy because he was able to develop that based on his own circumstances.
Yeah, exactly. 100. But I mean, it may not be yours. It just really depends. Like, I'm not active in the real estate business, but I am here to say that you can make whatever you want in it, just so your level of involvement. There's nothing wrong with multifamily. If that's your jam, dude, like own it. If I could say anything here, I would say whatever it is you do, become the master at it. Like one thing. Like if I learned anything from all the greats, I was talking to a dude the other day who's doing a $250 million apartment complex deal. 250 million. I was like, man, dude, how can I get on this deal, man? And he was like, man, you go close 100 single family homes first. Like you need to know how to do that in all markets, across all spectrums, across different market cycles. You do that. Older guy, much older than me. He's like, I'll teach you how to do this. I said, cool, man. And so
and then you get a 1099.
Yeah. And so I'm just like, I think whatever's going to work for you,
1031.
like own it. Like you need to know in multifamily, like everybody needs to know you for multifamily. When I get on the internet and I just start talking, everybody knows I do single family homes. Every single person. And besides, what's great about single family homes is that is the entry for most people into real estate. So I sell a real estate investing course, teaches people exactly the same thing that I do, right? Most people are going to buy my course. Make good money on that too as well. But I don't have to push that all the time. It's in a ClickFunnels thing. So it's a freaking evergreen loop. So people buy it, I don't do anything, I'm not paying attention to it, it's just money flowing in. So it's just like it's how many ways can you make money, how fast can you make it, and how little of attention do you have to put on it to where you don't kill your momentum.
Yeah,
that's how you make a lot of money with it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's just systems on systems on systems on systems. Go right ahead.
I was going to say, so when you're negotiating the deals, what are some items that you kind of check off?
I always look at the 4 systems: the roof, the electrical, the roof, the plumbing, the what is the other one?
AC.
What is the other one? Oh my God.
Plumbing, electrical.
My brain is going down. Sorry. Yeah, I look at the 4 systems. Those are the main things I care about. That's really all I care about. I don't care about really anything else. Flooring, whatever. The main thing I'm going to negotiate is I want the roof fixed, I want the AC fixed, I want it cleaned out. I'm going to send my guys in there. Let my guys come in because I've got a whole entire team of people that will go in there. I make them go in there and take a look at it. I'll send another. I'll get the inspection reports. The only thing that I care about is those 4 things. That's really it. Everything else is just kind of, if it's like a broken window or something like that, I'm not really going to make the seller fix that. I'm not worried about it. Most people are going to still rent the property if it's got a crack in the window. Now, if there's not a window there, I'll make them replace it. But beyond that, it's not a deal breaker. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'll go toe to toe. I'll be like, listen, look, here's the deal. I'm going to offer you X. You're asking X. I'm going to offer you X. I want the roof fixed. And they'll respond back, and I'll tell my agent, listen, look, here's the deal. See if they can get it done through the insurance company, or see if they can find another way to get this thing fixed. And so she'll kind of negotiate with it, start talking to the buyer's agent or whatever it may be. And then if they do it, they do it. They don't do the deal, they don't do the deal. I'll just walk. And they'll be like, well, I'm not going to do this. I'll be, well, here's my final offer. Let me know in 24 hours.
How many of those were as is?
Out of the ones that I own, out of the 16, that's a good question. Let me think. I'd probably say 50%, if I had to guess. If I had to guess, I could go back and look at it. I mean, like for instance, let me give you an example. On one of them, the guy was asking $115 for this house. 3 bedroom, 2 bath, all brick. This house is a great house. It's solid, like super solid. He just replaced the HVAC, just replaced the water heater. That's all valuable to me. All of that's valuable because I know that if I got to replace it, that's going to be a major expense. So what I did, and he just replaced the roof. So I gave him $119 for it. This is when the market was heating up. Like he's going to be getting a lot of offers. It literally just hit the market within 10 minutes. I told my agent, I said, listen, Beth, why don't you put an offer in right now for $119? She's like, why don't you just go for $115? I said, because somebody else will bid it. I said, because in the description it says X, Y, and Z and X, Y, and Z. I know that if I have to come out of pocket for a bad AC, it's going to be $5,000 out of my own pocket. Whereas either way, I can mitigate that extra cost, the $4,000, right? I'm only putting down 20% of the $4,000, and my tenants are going to cover the rest of it. All that's valuable. Brand new water heater, brand new HVAC, new roof, all of that's valuable. That's how I negotiated it in. And it was a win for him because he was like, oh yeah, I'll take that, right? So when the moment he agreed to it, we sent an inspector to the inspector was like, hey, listen, look, you got to fix the electrical board. So he had to fix it. It was like $2,000. Yeah, because and my agent was like, look, either he's going to fix it now or he's going to fix it for somebody else to come through. You might as well fix it when he's offering you more money for it. You see what I'm saying? But you gotta be ready to go to toe to toe. And I was ready, but that's the thing about negotiation. You have to be ready to walk away. When it's final offer, you can't be like, I was thinking, if you don't want to take, whatever. But you gotta be like, look, I'm done. This is it. We're done. You gotta be able to walk away. You gotta be cool with that. You gotta live with that. Is that helpful? Yeah, absolutely. I'm in sales too, though, so I know when to walk away from a deal. I'm like tripping you up, bro. Hold on, see if we can throw this behind your head. Yeah, there we go, man.
Way better.
Get on that car. What's up? Anybody else want to ask a question?
When it comes to single family homes, do you care to look for like additional dwelling, anything with a carport, garage you can convert, or no, you just strictly want to make it a family-based home?
Sure. No, that's a great question. So the first 10 that I bought, the lower end homes, some people in the 70s and early 80s had converted some of those, and we didn't touch any of that stuff. I don't really look for carports. I really look for brick. I look for brick because it's in the South, man. There's a lot of rain that comes down in the South. Obviously, you know it here, man. Like anything wood is going to be constant maintenance. I don't look for nobody's going to pay extra for like a garage where I'm in that area. Now, however, in the upper homes that I bought, the 200, yes, they have garages, double car garage, storage in the attic, all that good stuff. Yeah, I look for that because that's worth a little bit more, like 150 in that neighborhood that I'm buying. But those are all high-end military offers, so they're driving nicer cars. They've got a more upscale lifestyle. I will also go in on those homes. Also, I took all the ones that had carpeting, I ripped it all out, and I put Mohawk flooring down there. It's like a 100-year warranty LVP flooring, and it's like a certain color. But I did all the floors in the house and all the other houses in that neighborhood the same color. Streamline the entire thing. All my homes are painted with this color Power Lunch. I do them all the same thing. So again, I don't want to put any attention on it. So I was like, okay, how does a hotel business run their business? Okay, that's how they run the business. Okay, same flooring, same paint, same XYZ, and that's how we do it now. So whenever it needs painting, they're not calling me. They already know the color to use whenever they need to do flooring. And I don't put in $7,000 flooring in a house that's like $150,000. It's got to be 200 or up, because that's going to massively appreciate and swing it to the up. And I will say this: I don't block down walls. I don't add on the rooms. I don't do any of that stuff. Again, I'm trying to buy something that's as close to rent ready as possible, so I can turn and flip it. Because there's a high demand where I'm at. I mean, it's nothing for like me to get a house, and let's say 8, 9, 10 applications come through. The biggest part is waiting, because they got to prove all these people. Like, okay, well, this person didn't get approved, they did credit, or this person had criminal background check, or this person had previous eviction. And that's the worst part of it all, is, man, they're just having to filter through all of these people. It's not like it's a lack of people, it's just filtering through to get the right one. Go right ahead, man.
Why did you choose the city that you have?
I grew up there.
Oh,
Yeah. I used to be
But you knew that it was a strong rental market from the get?
Yeah, I was a land surveyor. I was the dude that held the rod. You know what I'm talking about? That dude out there?
The survey?
Yeah, land survey, bro. That's what I did. I made like $8 an hour. I made like $15 an hour when I was like 32 years old, man. It's unbelievable, man, right? It's amazing what hard work can do for you. But no, I know the area. I know like the demographics. I know the economics, which way. So I knew the newly developed areas. I knew that whenever the certain areas had been developed, I knew like what was going out. So I knew like the direction of the town too as well, where it was going. That's why I was there. Yeah, that's why I was there. Go right ahead, man.
I hear two stories from you. The one when you were 32 and making $50 an hour, and the second one, the one that you were making, I don't know, that you lost $26,000.
Right.
But in between that,
Sure.
when was the breaking point that you said, this is what I want, this is where I'm going? What were the things that you were transforming within you to become who you are today?
That's a great question, bro. That's a really good question, actually. So I left my job that I was making $15 an hour at 32. I left to go be a personal trainer. I didn't really make much more, to be honest with you, man. I thought I was going to make a lot. I was really good at working out. And people followed me, and they paid me to work them out, pretty much, teach them what to do in the gym. That went on for like, I think it was yours. That went on for about 2 years. And about 34 years old, my wife was a sales consultant for a company out of Cincinnati. And the CEO of the company, she attracted the CEO of the company because she was doing such high volume sales in an area that historically was not very good for sales. So he flew in. She asked me to go with her to the meeting. I met him and everything. And then he started following me on social media for a year. He wanted to start working out. So guess what he did? He reached out to me. This guy took a company from $1 million a year to $250 million. It's unreal. That's power, right? It's worth like 50 or 60 million on his own. He's only a year older than me. So like when I was like 34, 35, he asked me to be his personal trainer. I traveled all over the world with him. I quit my job. I went to Africa, went to Australia, private jets, club live down here. Did all that. And I'm not saying it to brag because you stay home from gone so you're gone from home so long, man. It gets really old. Like 256 days a year, man. I'm not around my small kids. Doesn't matter how nice the hotel is. Doesn't matter who all's in it. Whatever, it all tastes the exact same. But I learned a lot from him about drive, about ambition, about how business works on an intimate level. Like we're talking a Harvard graduate level. He's telling me what CFO responsibilities are. He told me everything. So I left that job and then went on to go do my own thing. Left that job in March of 2015. I was only there for like 3 years. Left it in 2015. In September of 2015, I almost lost my house. I tried to make it as an entrepreneur between March of 2015 and September of 2015. I came to a head. I called the mortgage company on September 15th, 2015. I said, hey, listen, I can't make my mortgage payment. It was that moment right there that I knew there was something about money that I didn't know. I didn't know how to make enough. I didn't know how to save it. Didn't know how to manage it. Definitely didn't know how to invest it. There was something I didn't know. That's what I was saying at the very beginning. Money's a feedback loop. It's trying to tell me something. It's trying to tell all of you something in this. If you're not making what you want, you got to ask yourself, why am I not making the amount of money I want? That's the problem with what happens for most people is that they make 50 grand a year. It's not that people making 50 grand a year don't make 200. It's the 50 grand people making 50 grand a year don't know how to make 200. I didn't know how to make 200. I didn't know how to get out of the situation I was in. I just knew how to hustle harder. That wasn't going to get me there. I was like, there's something that I don't know. Thank God the mortgage company gave me some grace that day. And so I started building stuff online. I started getting online and created a product around what I knew was fitness. And so I started doing that, worked that for about a year and a half. I was able to get out of the situation that we were in. And then my wife, we went into sales. We were already started building an audience online, just showing up every day on Facebook. And then we went into sales. We sell, it's gonna blow your mind. We sell anti-aging hair and skincare products. It's from a company called Monate. They're actually out of Miami. You know who they are? So we partnered with them in 2016. We're in the top 20 income earners in the world. And but it's been through a lot of hard work. But when we partnered with them, all the people that had been following us were like, I could use that product. And then we started closing them, and then our money just went. Like I said, it went from, this can't go on video, but it went from like 500 a month to like 42 grand a month within a 12-month period. And that was the breaking point. But it was when I almost lost my house, was when I knew that I failed my life. I mean, my wife, I failed my kids as a father, as a provider. And that's when I knew that there was something I didn't know. So I made my entire mission from there forward to life. I said, I'm never going to be in this situation again. I'm going to study money. I'm going to study how to make more of it, how to create it, how to do the time freedom thing, how to scale my income. I want to know how to invest it. I want to know how to manage it. I want to know how to get ahead. I never want to be put in this position of lacking power. I felt literally like my arms were tied behind my back and I couldn't do anything. It was the worst feeling ever. If you've ever been in that situation, especially with small kids, man, you'll know. That was the breaking point right there.
And do you think like once you were able to enter into that company, you were able to learn like the power of leveraging and residual income, and how the power of like stacking up, I don't know, it got you to a point of like, how do I macro these principles? Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah. I built a system.
I
built a system, but I learned the system from the CEO because he ran a direct sales company. He ran a network marketing company just like Monate. He ran another company like that. Years
before. Okay.
Yeah, before. Like in 2013, he'd been doing this since 1993, I think, with his company. But he taught me how it all works. He taught me how the whole system works, how customers work, how people that come into the business work, and things like that. I mean, I believe that God is whatever you believe in, but I believe in God, and I believe that He lays out a path before you to be able to like build upon what you already know, like prior experiences and things like that. Like I always ask myself, like, what's next? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? And that's what I'm always like, what am I going to learn here? What's the next thing? But yeah, that was the breaking point, and that's how I learned it. Was through that. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and then I took all that money and just funneled it into real estate. I thought the stock market was the way. If it wasn't gonna be that, it was gonna be crypto. To my dad, he said, "Hey man, you got to get into real estate." He hounded me, man, right before he passed away. You got to get into real estate, man. You got to get into real estate, build something for your family. And it's just, yeah.
What systems or rules do you use to supervise your net worth, your investments, and so on?
Sure. So for the real estate, what I do, number one, it's a couple of different things. So I'd say for the real estate, it's literally a different bank accounts dedicated to real estate. It's just building up cash right now. I've only been in the game like 2 years, but I don't use any of the money. Obviously, if something breaks, we got to pull from the reserves. But like large amounts of money, I funnel it through life insurance, whole life insurance. I just funnel it right through there because it's a you need protection on this planet. Whenever you start making money. You need to protect your money. You need like different avenues and ways. You get, it's like the old saying says, man, you leave a lot of money in one bank account, somebody's going to come and get it for you. Somebody's going to sue you. Sob story's going to come out of the woodwork. You're going to want to upgrade your lifestyle, or something's going to break on one of those things. That's literally, I keep it simple. I follow a lot of it through different life insurance policies. I'll follow some of it to different banks, automatic withdrawals. It just literally as soon as it comes in, I get it out of my hands. I'm very cash poor. Very, very, very cash poor. If that's helpful.
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah,
Do you have an Excel spreadsheet like
No.
more into detail,
No.
or you just look at your properties, you estimate, what the property manager says, or provides you with a statement, and that's pretty much it.
Correct. That's it.
Diversified other than real estate and life insurance policies.
So I think I was telling Julian this whenever it's like, if I was going to invest in this area, I'd buy a car wash. I'd do like an express car wash. I mean, the return on those like 40 to 60%. I got other friends of mine that are far better up than I do that want to do car washes as well. But I mean, you could build one for like 2 to 4 million, and you can sell them for like 10 in just a few years. I mean, we're talking about one of the 45-second tube wash things. They go through, they pay you $10 and they're in there 45 seconds and they're out. That's an unbelievable cash cow, unbelievable. And I mean, it's not like one of those full service ones that has like 35 employees. It's got like 6. Some dude to spray off the back and some dude to get in there and like fix it. That's what I would do if I was going to diversify out of single family homes and into any other real estate vehicle. That would be it. Definitely wouldn't be storage units. It would be car washes. That's where it's going. I mean, I'm just throwing that out there.
So then, other than real estate, you don't do any type of other investments. You just strictly single family home real estate investments.
Keep the main thing, man. Go for what you know. Yeah, I mean, there's no need to fix it. I mean, I don't want excitement in my investments. I want excitement when I go to Cabo, but I don't want excitement in my investments. I want it to be super boring. I want it to like just be unbelievably boring. That's how you build a repeatable pathway to wealth. So if a luck is the main, I did a reel about this, but if luck is the one of the main core principles, like crypto, nobody can control that. Like for me, you have to control and be able to impact the outcome, like raise rent, get tenants out of there, do a property, the value add to it. Like you can control it in multiple ways, but like crypto, you can't do anything. Stocks, you can't do anything. And so if I was going to invest, if I was going to do anything else, I would do something that I could control and impact, like the car wash. That would be it. But it would be somewhere in the real estate sector, obviously for tax purposes too. The tax benefits along with real estate are incredible. I mean, who here leverages taxes and really like cost segs, anything like that, advanced accelerated appreciation? I'm telling you, that's the magic right there. You can write up for passive losses against your active income. That is magic, bro. That's when you're paying. Yeah, it's unbelievable. You can't do that with any other asset class except for real estate. It's fantastic. So I would stick in the real estate space, absolutely, 100%.
In regards to the taxes, do you have a book yourself, or do you know a book that you were?
I pay people for that. I pay people for that.
Okay.
I don't know enough about tax. I mean, I have a working knowledge of taxes, but I don't know like the actual quantifiable mathematics that goes into like. I don't know how to do a cost seg. I have no idea. But I know that, I can buy a car for like, that's over 6,000 pounds, and I can write off like a certain percentage of my income against it if I use accelerated bonus depreciation. I know that much. But I know enough, like I was telling the CPA gentleman here earlier, I know enough to ask the right questions, but I don't know how to make it go on the spreadsheet. Like, I don't know that.
Yeah.
That's what I don't know. But I know enough, and that's the magic, man. It's like Donald Trump said, man. Like I'm a big fan of like his books, regardless of what you think about me. He's a business genius. So and I'll be very honest with you. How many books? Who here reads like more than like 50 books a year? 50 years. Like I read like 70, 75 books a year. Like that's just my thing. I love to read business books. I love to read books about me, my habits, my own like habits, how I work. I'm always trying to figure it out. I always ask myself before I open up a book, I'm like, where is the $1 million tip? If I don't get it, I'm gonna go back and find it because there's $1 million in every single book. The biggest thing I got from one of his books was like, you don't have to know every single aspect of the business, but you do need to learn the language of this business enough to be able to ask the right questions. Because that's how you get taken advantage of. It's when when they just talk over your head, you don't ask the question. Can you explain that again? Where does this go? What does this do? And so there you go. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. What's your name?
Mauricio.
Mauricio. It's great to meet you, man. I like the question.
I was gonna tell you, you're a lot taller in person. I've seen you on podcasts. And
You that look short.
yeah, I know you're 5'2", 6'1".
Maybe it's the angle. Hey.
Thanks for letting me know. I'm gonna have to fix that.
Yeah, you made an impression on this. So I was like, man, this guy's freaking big.
Oh,
in person.
I appreciate that, man. I didn't know that. I'm like, I look small.
Yeah.
No, it's fantastic. Did you happen to see some of my reels? Is that what?
No,
Or is it something-
actually, I'm not big in Instagram, but I got to get on it because there's There's a lot of like knowledge. There's a lot of guys to follow.
Yeah,
Just
man,
like
yeah,
social media. I gotta get on it.
Bro, the fact that you're asking me questions shows me that you have an outward personality, man. If I was, I love Instagram. Like, I love Instagram. I love Reels. Like, Reels. I've had people hire me, want to hire me. I haven't worked with them yet, but they want to hire me to, like, show them how I do my Reels. I do a lot of certain type of Instagram Reels. I get a lot of traction. I get a lot of people that are into investing, into real estate and things like that. If you're going to do any one thing, like you need to build a network. If you're going to be in real estate, you got to know people. You before having all the money, you need to know people. I'm just telling you, like, you need to know people, and social media is the fastest way to get connected with any individual. And Reels by far is the fastest way to grow your network. Like, I got like 15,000 followers this last month alone just from doing Reels. Yeah, Facebook is like the jam, dude. Like, all the money to me is on Facebook. Like, that's where all the people that have the money are at. But yeah, Reels. That's what we were talking about when we first met. I was like, dude, bro, gotta do Reels, man. Gotta do Reels. Yeah, do Reels, bro. Do Reels.
He's still challenging me.
Dude, follow me. I'm like Jason Rash on Instagram. Jason Rash on, yeah. So I do Reels. I'll tell you the magic, bro. You want to know, like, the secret? Yeah. If you can do a Reel that I had one on, I had like a couple of them on, probably 3 or 4 of them on Facebook go to 1 million. I'm like, what the hell's happening here? I post it once on Instagram and it gets like 1,200 views, 1,200 plays, and then I'll put it on Facebook, but it gets 1.4 million. What happens is the people on Facebook, what I've discovered is they like to have conversations more than the people on Instagram. The people on Instagram are just doing this, but the people on Facebook are just like, they want to talk to you, right? So if I can make something that is so polarizing that butts up against their own belief system, like, hey, cash out your 401k to go invest in real estate, they think I'm an idiot. All of them think I'm an idiot, dude. So I'll put out a reel. 500 people will comment and tell me what an idiot I am. This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Like keep your money in a 401k, and I'll comment on there that, what makes you think that? Why would you think that? I bet you've never invested in real estate. Tell me you've never invested in real estate without telling me.
And
you've
then
never
the
invested in real
algorithm
estate.
will
Oh
go
yeah, and they just come out of the woodwork. Their longest form comments, man. And that's what you want. You want people to comment long form on it, because then it pushes you back through the feed again through like all of their people. And Facebook deems the content valuable. Right? If you're going to do that, make something unbelievably polarizing. Money, real estate, sex. Like that's it right there. That's the 3 things. Just throwing it out there. I mean, that's legit, man.
Yeah. So I guess let's wrap it up and we can
Any
chill.
other questions?
You know.
I have one.
Yeah.
Can you go back to your loans? When you say that each one of you and your husband were able to get a year.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
You and your wife were able to get 10 loans.
Yeah, everybody in America is, as long as you qualify.
Mortgage loan?
Yeah.
Mortgage loan.
Yeah, everybody in America can get them. As long as you're a U.S. citizen, you can get it. And you qualify DTI and credit score.
Yep.
And you do them on your personal name. No, you don't create an entity and
No.
the entity makes.
No, so what I did was I bought them all and through my personal name. And then within like 2 to 3 months, I just funneled them out through quick claim deeds over to my LLCs.
But the loan remains under your name.
The loan is in my name, but the property itself is not.
Even though it's still under the mortgage, it can belong to you.
Yeah, they won't call it because I'm essentially sending it from myself to myself. So they're not going to call the loan due.
So, but also like, yes, these are like Freddie Mac's type of loans.
Yeah, it's conventional.
So
It's the cheapest
it's conventional.
money.
So yeah, but if you run out of these, there's like other private lending companies that will do long-term lending on a slightly higher interest rate. But if it makes sense, it makes sense. So then you can later on refinance or.
Yeah, I'm looking for the cheapest money possible.
Yeah,
that's what I'm looking for. I'm on the hunt for if the cheapest money possible is conventional loan, I'm gonna do that, and then probably go to like commercial, probably, and like with a 5-year balloon. Maybe 36-month balloon, something like that.
And then you
just
can pay it off.
refinance
Yeah,
and just keep refinancing it. That's probably how I do that play if I ran out.
You qualify by yourself for one loan, and then she does another one separate. You guys are going to go.
No, you don't want to burn up all the slots because if you're, it's like I'm saying on our personal property, both of us, whenever we got the property, I didn't know any of this when I first bought the personal house, but both of us are on the title, both of us are on the actual mortgage. So both of us are required to, if something happens, they're going to come after both of us. So what I did was I just took my wife off the title. Excuse me, no, I had to refinance a house and I took her off the mortgage. But I left her on the title, so I couldn't sell the house from underneath her. Not that I've been married like 22 years, 21 years, so not that anything's going to happen. But that's how it went. But now only I am responsible for that mortgage. That's it, just me.
So that counts as one property,
One slot.
Exactly, and then he has like 9 other slots, and then she'll have, and then she has 10 slots.
And they're not going to do all yours at the same time. They're going to do like one of yours, one of his, one of her, yours, one of his. They're going to go back and forth. They're going to bounce. They may do 2 on you, 2 on them, 2 on them, but they're going to bounce back and forth.
Yep.
If that's helpful. Yeah. Any other questions around that process? Yes, sir.
A little different, but you mentioned you really trusted your realtor. You have one person you work with specifically, or multiple people hunting?
Just one.
Just one.
Yeah, just one.
So if you, let's just say another realtor called and said, Jason, I got this hot deal in your neighborhood. Would you say call my realtor, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just don't want to deal with it.
Okay.
I get, I mean, I just, to be very honest with you, I just don't want to deal with it. So I call my realtor and she'll, talk. I mean, but nobody's ever brought that to me because everybody knows that I use one realtor exclusively. Again, I'm trying to build a system. I'm trying to streamline all of this. That's why I built everything through. I got a friend of mine. He is a lobbyist. I just want to lay this out here. He's a lobbyist for U.S. senators, and he's very, very busy. And he compounded all of his problems with. I hope this Scott doesn't see this. He's going to kill me if I say this. But what he did was he has 75 different rental properties across 17 different markets. And these markets are nowhere near each other. They're all over the place. And so what happens is it's a nightmare for him. And so I saw him doing that, and I was like, I don't really want to do that, man. I want to streamline this thing up. So I was like, let me just scale this thing up into one property management company. And so that's how I do it. But everybody does it differently. Like we talked about earlier, there's many doors of financial heaven through real estate. However you want it, whatever level of activity you want to be involved. If you want to be like I am, completely 100% passive, or if you want to be an overwhelm, I mean, and there's a wide gamut in between.
Yeah.
Is that helpful?
Yes, thank you.
So most of your real estate investments are focused in a particular area.
Yes, sir.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
Aren't you afraid that you're not diversifying the risk, like you're only in a very particular area?
So that's a really good question. I'm from the area. Amazon just put a brand new $100 million shipping center there. One of the largest Air Force bases where every officer has to come through in America that flies anything for the U.S. Army goes there. But more importantly, every Hyundai that's ever made and printed here in America, the main manufacturer is there. It's got some really good roots, deep roots, and they put a $1.2 billion factory there. I don't think they're going to close that. But I mean, anything could happen. I mean, but that's the best way I could mitigate my risk. I was like, okay, what's here? There's a lot of industry here. I don't see that going away. But I mean, if it all goes away, then I'll be on the hook for all those mortgages. But in my mind, I don't think it's that bad. It's not like it's a small town either. It's like a town 300,000 people there. So it's a really good, solid working industry. And again, I'm from there. But yes, you're right. If it's a risk, it's a risk, definitely. If it was a small town of like 15,000 people, I wouldn't do that. Yeah, not enough diversified industry there. But you've got aerospace there, you've got the U.S. military there, you've got Hyundai there. I feel like it's a good. And Amazon's there now. I feel like it's pretty good, solid.
I actually resonate a little bit with that strategy. Like just pick a little area and then grow it, and then once you're able to grow in a way that you're satisfied, and then maybe you get bored and want to go to another place, then do so.
Yeah.
Because I found like a great area, and I want to keep buying in that particular area. So
yeah, I like boring areas too.
Yeah.
I don't and I just say this like this is where I think a lot of people get it twisted. As I like buying stupidly boring areas. I want to invest in areas where people don't have it on their family vacation. So I invest in Montgomery, Alabama. Macon, Georgia is really good. Valdosta, Georgia is really good. Enterprise, Alabama is fantastic. Dothan, Alabama. I've probably never heard of these towns. Like they're literally just like there's nobody going there. There's no vacations there. No, it's just literally like people live there, they work there, and they just continue to pay rent forever. I mean, it's not glamorous, it's not sexy, but it makes a whole lot of money. I mean, I got a friend of mine, he's probably 70-something years old, and he's got 400 homes in the Montgomery area. Each one prints out $1,000 in positive cash flow. He's doing it much longer than I've been alive. And he's pulling up 400 G's, man, doing nothing. I mean, I don't know anybody who would just be like, you know what, that's not attractive enough for me. Okay. It's helpful to have those people in your life too, though.
okay.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, what's your take on like Montgomery is kind of like, is it like a college town?
No.
What's your take on buying single family in college towns and then kind of splitting them up?
Are you ready for your house to get destroyed? I mean, if it doesn't have concrete walls or concrete ceiling or concrete floors, I mean, it's probably you're gonna be, all right. I'll give you an example. I got a friend of mine. He runs an endowment fund for Oxford University. And he was telling me the other day, he's like, dude, they have all these they're packing like 20 kids in these houses. They're huge houses though. They're massive like mansions they built, right? But it doesn't matter how much of a security deposit the parents leave. Like they're always every single year having to like come out of like the reserves, because what's happening is the kids just destroy the house every single year. Whereas in my houses, they're not. You see what I'm saying? Like I personally would not do a college town because it's just going to eat up your reserves. Paint, holes in the walls, slamming doors, knocking doors off the wall. I mean, it may not be massive damage like flooding, interior flooding, but it's just going to be enough little stuff. It's just going to chip away at everything. Yeah, I mean, if it's not, like I said, if it's not built like this right here, it's gonna get torn up.
And again, you always have the possibility of creating your own system. Again, with the system.
Yeah.
But check this out. Like I know him from another BB Con, but Joe Samoa, he's been on Bigger Pockets. So his niche is Section 8, but he has a rule, and his rule is buy ABC. And he goes, okay, what's that? And he goes like, buy on A neighborhoods. Sorry, no, my bad. Buy with A tenants on B neighborhoods, and buy a C type of property, meaning beat up property on a B neighborhood and get A tenants. So he has a system to attract a particular type of Section 8 tenant that is eager to live on that type of neighborhood, because we all have the conception that all Section 8 tenants, they must live on C, D, F type of neighborhoods. So he just wants to attract these type of tenants to these B neighborhoods that they want to, and they cannot afford to live on those neighborhoods. Therefore, they're going to do whatever it takes to take care of that voucher and not lose it. So they will take care of the house, pay off your mortgage, and that's his whole strategy. He has a whole strategy just to maintain that tenant, keep him happy, and then by buying that C type of asset on that B neighborhood, his level of appreciation is like impactful. So he tries to buy with basement, he creates room, etc., pushing the appreciation of the house, and not only that, making this house to cash flow like crazy. So I don't know. So I don't know. It's crazy. The numbers are crazy, but that's his system, you know.
I think the biggest takeaway is you have a system. Like, who here has a system? Raise your hand. Like a really solid system with real estate. Really, really solid. Like you're saying.
I personally, I'm working on it.
You'll get it. And most of it's done through reps. It's just done like you just do a house, and then you do another deal, and you do another deal, and you'll find out what works, what doesn't work. And like I said, that's my system. 3 2s, 4 2s, all brick. No pools, no basements, no decks, no flowers, manicure yards. I know exactly no flood zones. I don't buy any of that stuff.
I think repeat what it works.
Yeah. It's like how you do the first deal should be how do you do the 100th deal. Like McDonald's. You walk into McDonald's, it tastes the exact same. Doesn't matter if you walk in here, if you walk into Berlin, it tastes the exact same way. And your real estate should be no different.
But I have one more question. You don't know what you don't know. So when you first started, how did you set up your system, or you worked it out or improved it as?
So whenever
When you started from scratch.
Absolutely, that's a very good question. So I had been in business previously, so I was like, if I'm going to go into real estate, I'm going to build a system here. I knew conceptually how I wanted to do this. I knew that I wanted to purchase certain houses. And it took me a few minutes to figure this out, right? Like I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay, what do I want to buy? Because I was like everybody else. I'm like, do I want to do multifamily, single family? Okay, I'm gonna narrow it down to single family. Okay, what are these single family homes gonna look like? Do I want 1 story, 2 story? What do I want, right? And so I'm like, okay, I know that a pool costs me money. Okay, so pools are out. All right, and so I just started going through it. I intuitively figured it out. I did land surveying. I was part of the engineering crew or whatever. So I knew what I'm intuitive enough to figure that out. I pretty much figured it out on the first house. I was like, okay, this is exactly what I want. This is exactly what I want. This is exactly how I'm going to do it. And just moved on from there. And I just eliminated anything that was going to be a future maintenance cost. So I don't do wood on the side of homes, things like that. Like anything I'm going to have to replace there, I just don't do it. I fine-tuned and tweaked a few things along the way, but like flood zones, I knew where all the flood zones were in the city. And I knew that if I bought a house here and it was the exact same house that was in a flood zone and one that wasn't, I was going to have to charge $150 more, but just mainly to cover the flood insurance. And I know for flood zone remapping through surveying, I know they're always adjusting them. They're always out redoing them all the time. And they're always raising the rate. So I'm just like, just stay away from the flood zone. I say like 4 or 5 streets away, maybe 6 streets away.
How did you set up a remote, group of people to do maintenance? You rely just on the property management company? You
Yeah.
double check them?
Yeah, so what I did was I came up with a series of questions. I was like, okay, I want to get on the phone and I want to talk to these ladies. I interviewed like 3 or 4 property management companies, and sometimes some of them didn't answer the phone. I was like, I'm not going to work with these guys. If they're not going to answer the phone, I'm not going to work with them. And during working hours too, by the way. I had a series of questions, like how do you collect rent? Just very basic questions, like what do you charge per month? What's your commission? Things like that. But it made me look like I was a professional. Hey, look, I'm an investor. I claimed it, by the way, before I even had the property. I claimed it. I was like, hey, listen, I'm an investor in the area. I'm going to buy X number of homes. Talk to me about this, and can you answer these questions for me? Bang, 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 bang. And some of them I didn't really like the idea. I didn't like the way they answered it, whatever it may be. And then I settled on one of them. I said, okay, cool. I'm just going to go with you. I mean, at some point I had to pull the trigger because I was ready to move, and the market was right, and I just moved on it. Sometimes you just got to go with your gut. I don't know if it's all like you can systematize everything out, and you just, I think that's part of doing business. Are you a hard money lender, right?
I'm a lender, I'm an investor, I'm a realtor, so.
How many things have you gone on gut on, like on your gut? Like you use a system, but like you're like.
I use a system, but I trust my gut.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
Sometimes everything checks, but there's something that it's off.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just the way people present themselves too. And sometimes it's the space between the words that you just don't trust them. Like it should be a very rudimentary question for them to answer, and they don't come back like as quick as you like or as confident in the voice. They don't deliver the answer you're looking for with confidence. And you're like, I don't know about this one, right? Yes or yes?
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. So there you go. That's the same way, yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna wrap it up, just out of courtesy to the place.
Anybody else have any other questions?
Yeah.
All right. Just want to make
So-
sure we answer all the questions.
Okay,
Thank
so
you,
no,
man.
so
I
we
wanna
can
say
chill.
Thank you. I want to say thank you, by the
No,
way.
thank you
guys
for
give this
coming,
man a round of applause. Like,
and to him too as well.
seriously, I know the work it takes to put something like this together, man. Like you put it online, you're doing stories, you're doing everything else, and I just want to say thank you, man. Like you're really good at this. You should look into doing like the stadium, whatever that stadium is over there one day.
Well,
You'll do it.
we have to talk to Grant Cardone.
Yeah, you know how to do it. So I just want to say thank you for having me, man. I really appreciate you. I'm
Thanks,
honored to
man.
come out, and thank you all. I appreciate all of you for showing up too as well. Thank you.
Thank you. So let's chill and talk.